wow, child, your motivations are very transparent. And she's like, yes, yes, they are. I just love that she does that. Okay. Try to draw his fingers a little bit thicker than DJ because their builds are such that, yeah. That'll be interesting though that when they release the next version of Clip with the new models, if I could like adjust the hands more, because DJ is the more elegant, like the more elegant hand, like the longer, delicate. He doesn't do any manual work aside from like a sword and occasionally helping his mom with the bees. Bijou is the beekeeper. His one mom. His one mom, Arden, is a former field crew, is a science now is a science teacher, and his other mom, Bijou, is the head beekeeper. Is head beekeeper, and she runs pretty much all the bees. All the beehives in the school and a lot even in the city are under her control or her supervision, basically. Because they don't really own bees and keep bees. They just kind of you just kind of basically set up an environment that bees like, and you just kind of have a deal with the bees, like, hey, we will keep you safe and healthy and provide you with any extra food if you need it. We'll keep you We'll keep the predators away and whatnot, and we'll even help you clean out all that extra honey in your hive, because bees are hoarders. And they are relying on you to actually take the honey from them. Otherwise, hives will become honey-bound, and that's bad. So yeah, it's like the only manual labor DJ really does. He's the he's the cardio guy, basically. And fencing. That's what he does. He runs and he does fencing. The Cal, with all his many apprenticeships, he has done more than his fair he has done way more than his fair share of manual labor. And of course, he helps his parents out with all their soap stuff, which is lots of hauling, lots of moving his around. So yeah, Cal has done enough like lifting things, manual labor and whatnot that his hands are a bit thicker, fingers a little bit more square, hell of a lot stronger. Granted, DJ has a good grip from the sword fighting, because sword fighters do have a wonderful grip. And work to develop their grip strength. Yeah. But I try and draw the differences in. So people are like, so like so I when I was mentioning this to Evie and Evie was looking at stuff, she was like, so essentially differences between my hands and your hands. I'm like, yes. He's like, manual labor. You know that. It's like, yes. Farm work. Metalworking. Over here. Evie, long, elegant hands. The kiddo, long, elegant hands. So yes, piano and violin. Farming. Of course, Cal couldn't do farm work because he's so allergic to hay. Well, he was allergic to hay. Aha. Not anymore. Let's see, one good thing happened to him. I'll put like some lines on that book. And it is Day of the Dead, so happy Day of the Dead. I'm gonna have to light some candles. Oh, I cannot wait for the Day of the Dead scene here in the comic. I have that written out. I know, like, I know what happens. Do, do, do. Ice cream man, fiddle tool, and the unfilled. Oh, accidentally hit his finger. Those little bits that I miss. Yes. Oh no, I do need that one. Okay, no, that's right. That's asleep. This I did not need. That's why we go in and we check. I had someone. I had someone. Make a little comment on Facebook. They blocked me because they were like, "I read your comic. There's not a lot of white people in it. Why is that?" It's like, there's not a lot of white people. Why is like it's 200 years in the future, dude? It's like I don't think any of the characters. I mean, I'm sure there must be a few. I'm sure they exist. It's like there are not many people at all who are like 100% European. Like, it's 20 years in the future. Here. There are not going to be very many 100% European people there. There are not. Like, that's just not how it is. That's how that works. That's not how it works, dude. There aren't going to be. There just aren't. And he got so mad. So, well, I don't think that's fair. I'm like, dude, it's just math. Do the math, buddy. Like, oh, it turns out you're a racist asshole. Never mind then. Never mind. What are you doing, kitten? What is that? That looks like a piece of something. Did you? What is this? This looks like a cap off of something. Looks like it should be covering a screw somewhere. What she found? Kitten just brought this to me. What's this for? You know what? It's just a decorative cap thing, I'm sure, and we don't need it. So here, kitten. You want to chase it? Go ahead. She won't eat it. She's how I'm the type of person who rarely loses my chapstick, but when I do, usually it's because it fell, and she finds it, and she like knocks it over to me. It's like, oh, thank you, kitten. So she has a habit of, and half the time I will throw it for her so she can chase it some more because it rolls, and it's not going to hurt it. So half the time, if she finds something weird, she brings it to me. So I find a lot of lost items that way. I was like, oh, where did that hair tie go? And she's like, Merp. Like, oh, there's my hair tie. Thank you. Where's the pen? Oh, there's the pen. Just chase the pen. So we'll play for a bit, and she's all until she's tired, and then like, I have my pen back. Even things I didn't know were lost. It's like where did you find a safety pin? Like if it's dangerous, like a safety pin, I won't throw that for her. Obviously, I'll get a regular toy and we'll play for a bit that way. But yeah, she's always finding little things that get dropped. Half the time, it's stuff the kiddo leaves around. ADHD, gotta love it. Or it's like, where are my nail clippers? Usually it's just random stuff that I didn't even know I lost. But yeah, it's fun. But yeah, that guy was very much like, well, I don't. He's like, I don't think you need more white people. I'm like, no, I don't. There's plenty. Well, but he was like, it's like, well, at least one of your main characters is white. I'm like, oh, DJ? Yeah, well, he's pale, but he's like pale. He is blonde, but he's not all white. Like he's like decent part Korean. It's just the European genes tend to manifest stronger in him. That's how that works sometimes. And he was like, what? Like, yeah. It's like, yep. Interestingly enough, and I pointed out, I'm like, dude, he's like, well, how come, like, he doesn't, like, well, how come he doesn't look that? I'm like, well, because he's mostly, he's like, mostly European? Cal is mostly Mexican? So that's what tends to manifest, but it doesn't change the fact that it's not in there. Interesting enough, Cal is the same percentage European that DJ is the same percent Korean. As like there's probably very few people out there that are 100% anything. I would almost have to guess to say at least in this country they don't exist, or if they do, they're in isolated communities. Yeah, the guy was very angry about it. He's like, why? I was like, I wish you would make you would make a comic book like this, and I'm like, no, pay me. Like, I give you my rates, dude. You could commission a comic if you wanted, sure. Cost you, but sure. Yeah, he was very annoyed that I pointed out mathematically it would be silly for me to have a comic like that. To have a comic set in the future with mostly white people in it. I'm like, that would be silly. It's like, no. He was very unhappy about that. That's okay. Do not mind annoying those people. Then he did try to pull the things like, well, you're white and you're making a comic about with people of color. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, dude, what makes you think I'm white? And then he started spouting about, me being illegal, quote unquote. And I'm like, dude, I'm Native American. And that's when he blocked me. that was that was actually kind of funny because there were a lot of other people in the comments who were like, dude, which is just one of those things when it's like, I was not expecting to be having sort of discourse. And oh, it is that time of year again. Ugh, I have more of it. That's okay. Ooh, I should get my I should set my quarter. My mom did give me a roll of Wilma Mankiller quarters. I know it's a very fraught holiday amongst all the Americans because a lot of us did grow up with it as a holiday where it's always been kind of uncomfortable because we were raised we you know we weren't raised with a lie, you know of what happened. But at the same time, it is still nice to get together with family and enjoy a nice meal. And like, what do you call? And like, we're like, yeah, what do we call it? Because we are giving thanks. So I will like my grandmother would. I did ask her once, like, Grandma, like, why do you like to, why are we doing this? You know, if it's just, kind of like a little symbol of like genocide and oppression. And she's like, oh no, she's like, well, it is important to give thanks. I'm like, yeah, like it's important to give thanks. She's like, but also, she did tell me, she's like, I like to think of it as sort of the giant middle finger. She's like, I like to think of it as. She's like, I like to think of it as like a giant. She's like, oh, she used like phrase giant middle finger. She's like, it's like as a way to say we are still here. And you're not going to forget us because we're going to have a big tasty meal with all of the indigenous food. I was like, well, all of our native food here. As the native food is the centerpiece of the meal. We are going to celebrate it right. It's like, and then later on, I was like, so it's a giant middle finger. She's like, yes. She did agree that that's what it was. She's like, yes, it is. She's like, we are here. She's like, we will enjoy our native food. It's like, we're going to have our traditional food, and we're going to have a nice, like, we're going to have a nice dinner with our family and enjoy our traditional food. And the thankfulness is that we are still here to do so, no matter what they try. Like, oh, good. So that's what I always think of it as. Say, yes, thankful we are still here, and we're still here. Ah! And we celebrate the good things that have happened. I know if she were alive, she would, I haven't seen it yet, I don't have the channel, but I should buy it. I should buy it so that they know to keep making it. Well, they're making more, thank goodness. Reservoir Dogs, I hear it's great. But, me fussing about pixels. My brain's like, someone's gotta. So I'm totally going to. So yeah, probably gonna like celebrate, the fact that Native Americans are on TV. The movie Prey coming out. Oh, she would not like the movie Prey just because she doesn't like anything gruesome. Grandpa would have watched it. She'd have been like, that's too gruesome. That was the word she would use, is gruesome. It's like, oh, it's gruesome. Oh no! More pork? I don't know how to fix it. I am not a good cook. I am nowhere near cook. How do you fix too much sugar? I don't do too much salt. I don't know how to do too much sugar. Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Ah, it'll just be a sweet batch.